Hello everyone, I'm Reena Augustine and welcome to Community Impact. I have the privilege to interview Mr. Duncan Pegg, the member of Stretton. Hello Duncan.
Namaste, Sat Shri Akal, great to be joining with you.
Thank you very much for accepting and coming to the studio today. Duncan, need to know what is your connection with India?
Well, I've been to India. I was really lucky to go to India back in 2016. I was there for about 10 days, so I had a huge amount of fun, but it was business. I was part of the Observer Research Foundation conference, which was a really interesting conference where we got to learn a lot about foreign affairs and a lot about India. So I spent most of my time in Delhi and also spent some time in Agra, which was very enlightening.
Okay, so you visited Taj Mahal.
I did. I was lucky to visit the Taj Mahal and a few places around Delhi. Obviously, the conference had a lot of obligations, so a lot of time was spent in the conference room, but I did get to go out and see Delhi and see some of Agra as well, and India is a very beautiful country.
That's amazing. And you won a debate competition in India? What was it all about?
Yeah, I did. So they have as part of the conference, they have a debate. So it wasn't just me, it was a gentleman, he was from the USA. So we teamed up and we were very fortunate to win the debate over there. So I can say that I've won something in India, I guess. So it holds really good memories for me.
That's amazing. And you actually met the President of India in the trip?
Yeah, we had an address by the President of India. We also got to visit the Presidential Palace, which was an amazing privilege, and we also got to spend some time with some of the disadvantaged children, played some soccer with them. No cricket.
No cricket.
Played some soccer, so I think my legs are still sore from playing with them, some very energetic youngsters. So
wow.
got to see quite a bit of India, and I hope to go back in the near future.
We hope so too. So Duncan, you are MP and you're very young. Why did you actually join Parliament? What was the reason? And if you can share it with the viewers, would be great.
Okay, well, I'm not that young. I turned 40 not long ago, so I don't feel as young as I did. But I was lucky. I got elected almost 6 years ago. And for me, a big thing before I was elected, I was a lawyer. So I've got a brother, I've got triplet brothers. So one's a doctor, one's an accountant, one's a journalist, and my youngest brother's in the Air Force. So for me, the importance of education and the opportunities that provides are really, really important. I'm a product of state schooling, and so are all my brothers. So to me, education and that importance and the way it can help people and advance people is a really, really important motivating factor for me in politics.
You actually go out a lot in the Indian community and multicultural community, I must say, and your electorate is full of multicultural people?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's right. So I'm fortunate I represent the most multicultural electorate in the whole of Queensland. So there's lots of multicultural parts of Queensland, but my part of Queensland's the most multicultural. So we've got the most amount of people born overseas of any electorate in the state, and the most amount of people speaking a language other than English of any electorate in the state, and of course a big and diverse Indian community, which is always lots of fun to spend some time with.
Yes, that's how I have seen you in many events, Duncan. You have been to Diwali, Sikh, you have been to the Gurudwara, you have been many places with the community leaders.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and we've got a fantastic Indian community here in Brisbane that continues to grow, that makes a huge contribution not only culturally but also to business, to employment, and to our community. The Indian community is also very, very generous. Of course, we've had some really tough times with COVID, and the celebrations that we're used to having every year have to be celebrated in a different, more private way, which has been unfortunate. But I think the community's been outstanding throughout this difficult period, and the vast majority of people have done the right thing, and that's how we've kept the infection rate down here in Queensland.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so you get along very well with Indian community. Is this the love of cricket you have, or?
I think cricket's part of it. I'm a big cricket fan, so I'm the chair of the Parliamentary Friends of Cricket. I think everybody that knows me knows I'm a massive cricket fan, so I'm looking forward to the Australia-India series, the Border Gavaskar Trophy, coming up in a few months' time, hopefully at the end of the year, and it's great to see that there'll be a test match played in Brisbane. But, you know, I love Indian food, I love Indian culture, and having had the opportunity I think more Australians should go to India. I think I've got a better understanding of the Indian community and India, having visited as well.
Yeah, I only know Brett Lee because
Okay.
he's very quite famous over there as a
Yeah.
cricketer, and people love him in there.
Yeah.
So no, so as I asked you about the journey of your life and how you got into what you're doing right now, what was the reason?
Well, I was born in Townsville, and then I grew up in Rockhampton, so I did all my schooling in Rockhampton. Then when I was 17, I wanted to study law, and you couldn't study law in Rockhampton. So 23 years ago, I moved to the south side of Brisbane. I've been there ever since. So it's a wonderful community. It's a wonderful part of the world. So as a lawyer, I focused on representing individuals,
Yeah.
not big companies who are disadvantaged. And so I see my work in the Parliament subsequently as an extension of that, except I get to help more people on a bigger level, and I get to represent my local community, which is really important to me.
So what made you join politics?
Well, it's a very interesting question. It's a question that a lot of people ask. I didn't think at the time our local area was getting the representation and the funding that it deserved. And having lived on the south side of Brisbane for a very long time, we're a growing community, we're a diverse community, and when you have that growth and diversity, you need government services to match, and that wasn't happening in my view. So I decided to step up and represent my local area and my community and stand for election. I was very fortunate to have the support of the community and get elected in 2015 and to be re-elected in 2017.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, you just turned 40, but you're still young, Duncan,
Okay.
and you stand as a example to many of the youngsters whom I have met, and that's how we all see you. Duncan, the other question was, what is your future plans? What do you want to do for your community, your area? What you're working on something?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, our area is a growing area and it needs services to match. So at the moment, we've delivered new classrooms, a new performing arts centre at Stretton State College. We've had upgrades and improvements to just about every school in the electorate, which is fantastic. At the moment, I'm working on some new bus stops in the Stretton area directly, and also an upgrade of Bow Desert Road, because that's a busy road that more and more people, there's a lot of estates and people living there in the Callumvale area. So we've got a $30 million upgrade to Bow Desert Road, which is really going to improve people getting to where they need to go. It means they'll get to work quicker, they'll get to school quicker, and they'll get to come home quicker and spend more time with their families, which is vitally important.
Absolutely, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Community Impact, and my guest is Mr. Duncan Pegg MP. Hello, Duncan.
Hi, Rena.
Duncan, I have a question regarding the COVID. So, how is your community responding to this particular pandemic that's going around?
Well, obviously nobody predicted this would happen in 2020, and obviously there was and is a huge amount of community concern, as there is worldwide. I mean, too many people have got sick, too many people have lost their lives, not only here in Australia but around the world, and also, of course, sadly in India. But I guess the positive has been that our community has overwhelmingly done the right thing, and that's why we've got such a low level of community transmission, not only in our local area but also in Queensland. Unfortunately, there's a couple of people that have done the wrong thing and they'll face the consequences of that, but
Yep.
I do want to praise the vast majority of people who've done the right thing, and that's why we've been able to ease the restrictions here in Queensland. We've still got some restrictions and we've had to close the border to the other states, but some semblance of life returning to normal has happened here, which has been fantastic, but people still need to practice hand hygiene and social distancing and all those measures to make sure we protect ourselves and one another.
That's right. And what are you doing for the small businesses while keeping the community safe?
Yeah, well, you make a really good point. So this is a major health issue and the priority is keeping people healthy, but we've also got to support jobs and the economy. So as a government, we've introduced a small business grants program where small businesses have been able to apply for for grants to help them get through. There's been tremendous support and campaigns to support small business and local business, and I know people locally have responded to that. What we've also been working on is projects that'll generate jobs. So the upgrade to Beaudesert Road, road projects, there's big school maintenance projects. So what they'll do, they'll not only benefit the community, but they'll also create jobs and also stimulate the economy. And when you create jobs in construction and building, that has flow-on effects to other sectors. So we're very cognizant of the fact there's huge challenges, there's big economic challenges, and people, want to see job security, they want to see small business going. And also, I think the other element of this is it's an opportunity for some more manufacturing to come into Queensland as well.
Wow, that's excellent. Thank you very much for that support. So the elections are coming up. Yes. So what are you doing? What are you preparing, and how are you going to get the election with safety measures? For the community.
Well, the Electoral Commission of Queensland independently runs the election, so it's happening on the 31st of October this year. It's also Halloween,
yes.
same day, which is amusing in some ways. So we've been through this with the council election, so people will be able to postal vote. So they can apply online or through my office for a postal vote and send that in. The 2 weeks before the election, they'll be able to pre-poll vote. So actually go into a location which will be publicised. They're not finalised yet and vote. And then also on the day, on the 31st of October. The rules and regulations are set independently from the politicians by the Electoral Commission of Queensland, which is quite appropriate. And the health and safety measures will be based on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jeanette Young, which is really appropriate as well. I guess we've been through an election in March, a council election, where COVID was a big issue.
Yes.
So people are aware of the social distancing and the measures in place. And I'm not aware of anyone contracting COVID when they went to vote in that entire council election. I know there was a lot of understandable anxiety at the time. So measures will be put in place to keep people safe. But it's also important in a democracy, people have their say. Just like they had a say in the council election, it's important to have a say in the state election. So it's a case of facilitating that while still keeping people safe.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And is there anything you would like to share to our viewers?
It's been really great to join you. It's a fantastic studio. I love the colour scheme, and I just wanted to say to all my friends in the Indian community, congratulations on the magnificent contribution you've made, not only to my local area, but also Queensland, and also the hard work you've done during tough times. I know people can't see family members, people can't travel like they have before. There's been disruptions to study, there's been disruptions to work, there's been disruptions to our lives. It's a global phenomenon, but people have gotten through, and if we keep persevering, we will get through these tough times together.
That's right. Thank you so much, Duncan.
Thank you,
Really
Rena.
appreciate
Thank
any
you very
support.
much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Community Impact. I'll be next week with you guys with a new guest. Thank you very much.